Okay, so we are live. Is this thing working? Test. Can you hear me? I think so. I'm gonna at least try it out. Okay, so just a little test. Man, I got all kinds of junk here in my office, but it's okay. I just wanted to jump on here and just kind of say hello to the world. I know it's been a while, and I'm not sure if this thing is actually working. So let me see if I can actually hear myself. What am I doing? There's just silence, and it's okay. Is it? Uh, can you not hear myself? Let's see. Is this working? Okay. Yeah, it's working. Cool. All right. Cool. So, um, I haven't been doing a lot of YouTube videos lately. I kind of got hung up on what it is that I am supposed to be doing, and I'm like, I don't know why, but there's this sense almost like fear came in. I was doing the daily Bible reading, and then I kind of just stopped. And I'm like, I've been thinking, like, okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? And there's so much that needs to be said. Because even I feel like even just coming on here and just recording what's happening in life, it's something that's kind of worth being done. But yeah, I'm just kind of here, just trying to figure this thing out. And I believe I talked a lot about consistency in the past, which obviously I had not been consistent for the last couple of months. And then even thinking now, I'm kind of beating myself up because I'm like, man, if I had just kept consistent, where would I be? Obviously, there would be much more clarity in the channel as far as what am I supposed to be doing. And then even just waking up every day with more of a passion to speak about what's going on, right? So, um, in reality, I'm just jumping in on this thing and just, getting back on the horse and just figuring out, okay, what is it that I need to be doing? I've shared my story in the past, so there's several videos as far as like what's going on. So, a little update. I still, I'm still unemployed. I still go navigating that. But man, I got to tell y'all, um, God is so good. God is so good. And he's really just been taking care of me and taking care of my family and just showing up in ways that um, I knew he would. And I know he's going to even show up in a greater way that I don't even know how yet. And honestly, I feel like I'm not just saying this, but I really feel like I'm speaking this out of my spirit that I'm excited about this time. One of the things that really struck me the other day, I was listening to this talk on the Deep End. Taylor Welch, is that him? And he had this guy on there. Let me see if I can pull him up. But man, if y'all haven't listened to it, I think it's worth listening to. What was it? Deep End. I know. Quiet. Here it is. Yeah. Satan's most lethal weapon, the blood money system, the first homicide, sacrifice, and conjured power. Um, Man, I listened to that thing, and I don't know if you guys have you guys ever listened to something and then you realize I knew that, but now that he's spoken it and said it, I know I know it for real. Well, and what am I talking about? I'm talking about there is a when he's talking the story. You guys got to go listen to the whole thing. I mean, the it's a 3 hour long podcast, but it is worth the listen. But something that really struck a chord in my spirit is how he's talking about the parable, or not the story of Jesus in the temple, when the Pharisees come to him and they're going to test him, right? They're like, hey, hey, they start off by saying, hey, Jesus, I know that you're a man who doesn't care what people say about you. And they're setting them up, right? Because they're going to ask them the question is like, should we pay taxes? And Jesus asked the Pharisees, like, what do you have in your hand? And they said, like, a denarius. And like, what is the inscription on that? It's like Caesar. And he gives a statement of, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. Well, anyways, he was talking about as far as the currency of heaven. And he made this point how we, humanity, mankind, we are the currency of heaven. And he tied it back to Genesis 1:26, where it says that man created God in his image and his likeness. And then if you look in the stories in the Bible, whenever God is going to do something great, how is it that the finances come? They can come through an individual. But God basically spends a man. And then he made this analogy as far as how lesser currencies will follow greater currencies. So even in the natural, the US dollar is the dominant world reserve currency. So all other currencies are exchanged for the US dollar in order to be able to be spent globally. Most currencies can be spent within their nations, but then if you really want to be, if you're really doing commerce in the world, you got to exchange your local currency into the US dollar. But it really struck me how he talked about us, man, being God's currency. And, something that I've been praying here lately is, Lord, show me who I am. And then even in the men's freedom groups that I lead or that I facilitate, I don't necessarily lead them because it's the Holy Spirit that's leading, and I'm just a facilitator. Praise God for that, a great opportunity. But something that really struck me is like, when you allow yourself to be spent, that's when other currencies are going to gravitate to you. Like finances, provision is just going to come, because if the Lord is doing something on the earth, if the Lord is doing something through you, then he will provide the means and the needs to accomplish what he is doing. And I'm flushing this out because it really has taken a hold of me, and I'm like, I just got to get this out. So I'm like, how do I get this out? How do I just put this out there? How do I allow myself to be spent by the Lord? And I think I don't know, maybe that's a question that everybody out there is asking, or you might be asking yourself that. How do I allow myself to be spent by the Lord? And I've been asking myself that question. And man, the thing that keeps on coming up to me is like this whole YouTube thing, right? I started doing it at the beginning of the year. I felt like the Lord was saying like, hey, just stay consistent. And then all of a sudden, because I started doing something that wasn't necessarily, I allowed it to become work. And what I did was, I was doing the daily Bible reading. I was like, okay, I can do the daily Bible reading. I'm going to get up here and just do a video, read through the Bible. But what I did, I allowed it to become work, instead allowing the Lord to spend me, or just, like, hey, just pour out, get in front of the camera, and whatever I start saying through you, just say it. And so even this, I kind of take it as a form of just obedience in the spirit of like, okay, Lord, what is that you're going to say through me? What is that you're going to do? What is it you're doing? And like, just speak through me. So anyways, I've kind of rambled on a little bit about that, but I just felt like, okay, I got to do this. I gotta be consistent with this. I gotta, I personally believe that we are clearly living in the last days. and there's so much stuff coming out, right? I mean, aliens, Nephilim, just all this stuff that just 10 years ago was just in the fringe and just the conspiracy theory type set. But I feel like we're living in an age where everything is being questioned. Everything's being questioned. And people are out there searching. They're like, who has genuine faith? Who has genuine faith that I can actually listen to, that I can actually be like, okay, what does Christianity actually look like? What is it actually supposed to be like? And this morning, I was reading Psalm 15. It just kind of popped up as in my morning's reading. And let me read it, if that's okay, which it is. It says, Lord, who may be a guest in your home? Who may live in your holy hill? Whoever lives a blameless life, does what is right, and speaks honestly. He does not slander or do harm to others, or insult his neighbor. He despises reprobates, but honors the Lord's loyal followers. He makes firm commitments and does not negate on his promises. He does not charge interest when he lends his money. He does not take bribes to testify against the innocent. The one who lives like this will never be shaken. And I'm like, talk about a song for our lifetime, right? For the time that we're living in, right? As far as like the question, who may be a guest in your home? I mean, I was like, I want to be a guest in the Lord's home. I want to sit at his table. And I'm really working and just striving after that of like, okay, Lord, I don't want to be living a life of having these expectations in my mind and waiting for the perfect to come so that I can start doing what I need to start doing. And to be honest, I feel like that's something that I did even with this, where I allowed the setup, like, oh, my office is not properly set up, it's not properly lit, the sound is going to be kind of crazy because I have a AC unit running in the background and it's so loud. And I'm like, okay, no, you know what? Let's just figure it out. Let's just make it happen, right? So hopefully this speaks to somebody out there. And hopefully my rant is a little bit more than just a rant for somebody out there. But let me tie this up and kind of end this here. We are living in a time, at least this is how I feel. We are living in a time where I feel like everybody is stressed out. We're trying to figure out, how are we going to make it? What is the hope for the future? With AI coming on board, because I personally have been feeling this, and I know the answer, but I need to believe the answer. Anyways, we're living in a time where we're looking for hope. What is the hope for the future? And as we look at all the opportunities that America used to have, America has been known as the land of opportunity, right? But now with AI coming on board, it feels like, what am I actually going to be doing with my life? How am I actually going to compete? Because now I feel like society is living in a phase where the mindset is like, I'm not just competing against the person next to me, I'm competing against an artificial intelligence, a machine. And the Lord spoke to me and he told me he is the creator. And yes, man is trying to create artificial intelligence, but it is God. Which God am I talking about? I'm talking about Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He is the beginning and the end. He is the one who brings forth divine intelligence. And he told me this: I can put an idea in your mind that will outperform and will bring so much provision to the world that the world will not be able to handle it. And again, I know that, but I feel like I'm in a place where I need to believe that. And I feel like there's areas in my life where I do believe that. As far as for my kids, I feel like, okay, these are your kids, Lord. Thank you for the privilege and the honor of being able to steward your children, your creation. And I know that he's going to provide for them. And something that I've had to remind myself is like, I've given my life to Christ as well. And therefore I am his child as well. Not so I feel like, and maybe I don't know if there's other men out there like this, that feel like this. You feel like God will provide for others before he provides for yourself. And you're thinking like, man, how do I provide? Especially as men, we've been taught that we are the breadwinners. We are we're the ones that are supposed to be out there striving and working and all that stuff. And something that even the Lord has corrected in my mindset is like, yes, that's true, but you're not the provider. I'm the provider, meaning God is, he's saying this, he's like, I'm the provider. You are just my conduit for provision on the earth. And something that really struck me, and I've been really just diving into the Old Testament because I think it's just fascinating how when God took the Israelites out of Egypt and brought them into the promised land, there was a system of commerce, there was a system of government, there was a whole system put in place to govern his people. And I don't know if you guys feel like this or anybody else feels like this, that we're kind of living as Christians, we're living in the world, we're trying to navigate the world, yet we're told to be in the world but not of the world. So then I'm asking the question, what is it to be in the world but not of the world? What is it to actually be an ambassador of the kingdom? What are the kingdom principles that need to be applied to our lives so that we can live as ambassadors and not as immigrants in a foreign land? Because I feel like in a way that's, as Christians, that's kind of how we've been living. We haven't been living as ambassadors. We've been living more as immigrants, trying to live off the world system instead of actually bringing the kingdom into the system. I don't know. I'm going off topic, but anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Keep it short and brief, but I want to give a shout out to my main man, Jason Casper. Thank you for what you said today. This really lit a fire under my belt, and just I felt like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to be consistent. I felt it in my heart. I need to just get on it and just allow the Lord to speak. So with that being said, God bless. I love y'all, and I will see y'all on the next video.